Somebody got golden tickets on their
We'd like to welcome everyone to our 2024 Big Guava Brinson Family Reunion Empowerment Session. This is a new thing that we're doing as a part of our family. We hope that you will learn a lot. If you have some questions, you will be able to ask a few to our panel here. We hope you enjoy yourself today, and there will be more of this to come. So at this time, I'd like to give it away to Sister Khadijah Head.
All right, clap it up, boom. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to start this like I start every single thing I do. I start with gratitude. I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful for my family. So that means I'm grateful and thankful for each and every one of you guys in this room today. To my fellow panelists, thank you guys for volunteering your time and level of expertise. I'm truly grateful and appreciative for that. For the attendees today, I'm going to ask a couple of things of you. I ask that you have an open mind, an open heart, and open eyes. Again, I ask that you have an open mind, an open heart, and open eyes. But because today you're going to learn something that will change your life. You will see something that changes your life, and you will feel something that will change your life. So I challenge you guys on those three things. The next thing that I want to do, and I'm going to go off script, but I think this is so very important because we take for granted that we are family. Me, myself, I haven't been to a family reunion for over 10 years. So I don't take great offense that no one knows who I am. So I ask each and every one of you, if you ask a question today, if you meet someone new today, what we have to do, and I'm going to challenge you because I'm going to do it myself. I'll ask my panelists to do it prior to speaking today. And if you ask a question today, I ask that you do this. I ask that you say your name, you say where you are from, and then you say your Brinson lineage. For example, my name is Khadijah J. Head. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Lucy Beckham Brinson, she is my grandmother, and I'm the daughter of Sheila Beckham Head, right there, and Venus Head Jr. The most important thing about family, and we're losing this dynamic as we get generations and generations away. We take for granted those that came before us. My generation, we are truly the generation that grew up in this reunion. I was born in 1980, so I was an infant, and I grew up as the family reunion progressed. So I challenge each and every one of you guys, please take the time to introduce yourself to each other. Let your family know where you're from and also how we are connected. Because each and every day that goes by, we're one generation away from being the eldest generation. So we must pick up the torch and ensure that this family reunion, it does not die down. Our goal is we want this to continue to increase, continue to grow. All right, so now we're going to get to the Brinson Empowerment Session. I want to share with you guys an affirmation that I say to myself every single morning. I love myself. I'm worthy of happiness. I'm worthy of wealth, and I will help my family. So I need everyone to repeat after me. I love myself.
I love myself.
I'm worthy of happiness.
I'm worthy of happiness.
I'm worthy of wealth.
I'm worthy of wealth.
And I will help my family.
And I will help my family.
All right, so now I need everybody to say it with their chest. All right? We're going to do this one more time. I love myself.
I love myself.
I'm worthy of happiness.
I'm worthy of happiness.
I'm worthy of wealth.
I'm worthy of wealth.
And I will help my family.
And I will help my family.
The most important part of this session is I want you guys to realize the impediment to your future. That person greets you every single morning in the mirror. I love myself. I'm worthy of happiness. I'm worthy of wealth. And I will help my family. I love myself. I'm worthy of happiness. I'm worthy of wealth. And I will help my family. I will start today's session. Again, my name is Khadijah J. Head. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. My grandmother is Lucy Beckham Brinson. My mother and father are Phoenix Head Jr. and Sheila Beckham Head. I have an elevator pitch, so I'm going to give you guys my elevator pitch. Today I will be talking about long-term investing, life insurance, and I also will be talking about estate planning. Before I go into my spiel, I'm going to just have my fellow panelists just introduce themselves, give their quick name, where they're from, their Brinson lineage, and they're just going to say what they're speaking about today, okay? And then y'all see me once more time, all right?
How's everyone doing? Good. My name is Anthony Crepenza. I am the son-in-law of Edward Brinson, who was the son of O.B. Brinson. So happy to be here, very excited. I didn't miss anything.
What you gonna speak about?
Oh, I'm speaking about real estate. Looking forward to sharing with everyone. I think this is a great opportunity. Looking forward to seeing this every 2 years. Khadijah, thank you for putting it together.
Yes.
Thank you for the wonderful words of affirmation. I think this is a great thing. You guys have a wonderful family reunion. I can tell you this, when I came 10 years ago, my family gets together, but not in the way that you guys do. And it's a wonderful thing to be a part of. And we should be teaching the next kids and the next generation about empowering themselves. We don't talk about the plumbers and electricians. We were just at the beach today, and we were talking to Randy Jr. He talked about buying a property that he bought with home equity for a home that he bought 11 years ago. This is the stuff that we should be talking about, especially as our kids start to get 10, 11, 12. They should know about these things early. So very, very excited to be here. Khadijah, thank you again.
And where are you from?
Oh, I'm sorry, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, North Philly.
And what will you be talking about?
I'm sorry?
What will you be talking?
Real estate. Yes, ma'am. Did I miss that?
Yeah.
All right.
Either I missed it or.
One of us.
Hi family, my name is Letitia Crepenza, Brinson Crepenza. I am the daughter of Edward B. Brinson, who's, my grandfather was O.B. Brinson. Thanks for remembering that, babe. This is my husband, Anthony. I am gonna be talking about real estate, also careers, with Anthony today. Thank you, family. Thank you, Khadijah, for putting this on. One more thing I wanted to state, and Daryl's gonna pull it up on the screen. I put together just a little slideshow from the people who filled out that form that I sent out about getting to know our family, so thank you for those who filled it out. It was really touching to me to look at the responses that we received and see some of the careers that some of our families in, see some of the trades, see some of the military and service work some of our families doing. And so I put colleges and also skills and hobbies, right? So I put some of that together on a slideshow that I'll be presenting here. So take a look at it. It's good to know, like, you can connect with other family members that may be doing something you're doing or aspiring to something you're aspiring to do. So, thank you.
Good afternoon, family. I am Lauren Kincaid, and I am a proud future Brinson. I am the daughter of Miss Gary Harris, who is a fiance of Mr. Daryl Williams. Can we? I will be speaking about employment techniques and whatever questions you might have about landing your new role, job seeking. The job market has recently changed, and it's kind of shifted from candidates driving it back to employers driving it. So you have to be a little bit more strategic with how you're approaching looking for a job. So I am looking forward to joining this family. I've been impressed since I got a link, an email for a Zoom call, and I knew that this is going to be something special. So I look forward to the rest of the weekend.
What sorority are you in?
Scary.
All right, with that being said, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name's Khadijah J. Head, and I'm a third generation of Georgia's oldest and most experienced black-owned plumbing company, Heads Plumbing Sales and Servicing. We're based out of Southwest Atlanta.
Yeah.
We started in 1981 after the company my dad had been working for 15 years closed down shop. And unlike his fellow co-workers, instead of becoming somebody else's employee, our parents decided that the next place that closed down, they'd be the first to know it. So I stand before you proudly, and we're officially 4 generations in. Come on up.
Got the golden ticket.
Stand next to Auntie. To employing individuals with the last name of Head. This is the 4th generation. All right, so the first topic I want to speak about is long-term investing. Long-term investing. I'm going to talk about pre-tax, I'm going to talk about post-tax, and I'm going to talk about how we can be successful for the next generation. So I hope that you have some type of writing material down, whether you're going to document it digitally on your phone. So if you got a phone, I need everyone to open up the notes section of their phone, because it's great to listen. The one thing about listening, it goes in one ear and out the other. The best thing about writing it down, you never know when that note you took on a random Friday in July could absolutely change your life. Long-term investing. Raise your hand if you are gainfully employed. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Good. One thing that my mother, Sheila, had taught me when I got my very first job when I was 25 years old. She gave me a book. Book is called Smart Women Finish Rich. And she told me, University of Arkansas, they have a 401k plan. And whatever they match, you need to match. So what a 401k is, it is a pre-tax tax vehicle. So the equivalent of that is 401k is a car. We all own some type of transportation. It looks good when it works, it's shiny, it's new, but it's only going to go as far as you can put gas into it. Gas is the equivalent of investing in your 401k. Okay? So if you're gainfully employed and your company offers a 401k, I challenge you to participate in it. The benefits of a 401k, you can contribute up to $23,000 annually. You can contribute up to $23,000 annually. What does that mean for you? When you contribute to your 401k, it reduces your taxable income. So what I mean by that, let's say for small numbers, you make $100 a year. Come up, stand up here, Jay. Jay makes $100 a year. Come on, Cam. Cam makes $100 a year. Cam contributes $10 per year to his 401k. So now, according to Uncle Sam, Cam only has to pay taxes on $90 for that year. Jay does nothing. Jay hangs out with Auntie and we spend all of his money. His money. Jay gets taxed on $100 each year. But at the end of the day, because Cam, he has to pay less taxes each year. When he's 59 and a half, he's got a good nest egg. Me and Jay, we're still trying to figure it out because we done spent all that money. So, moral of the story, invest in your 401k. Have a seat, gentlemen. Downside of a 401k, if you want to believe there's a downside, you can only touch that money when you become 59 and a half. If you touch it prior to then, there will be a heavy tax penalty. Next tax vehicle is a Roth IRA. Roth IRA is post-tax money. So the money you contribute into your 401k, it never touches your bank account. It goes from your employer right into your 401k. The money from your Roth, it goes from your employer into your Roth, but your employer takes the tax out for you. Okay? What I mean by that, and the biggest benefit of having a Roth IRA, the largest it grows, when you hit 59 and a half, if you have $1 million in your 401k, you still got to pay taxes on that $1 million. With your Roth IRA, because you've already paid taxes at 59 and a half, if you got $1 million in that Roth IRA, you get every single penny. Most people, they rely on their savings, they rely on Social Security. The problem that we're running into is, as employees, we contribute into Social Security. Well, we got a large generation of baby boomers that are just drawing out of that Social Security. And they have earned every single penny. But as they draw, the bucket goes down. So our generation, we can't depend on Social Security. And the generation behind me, they definitely cannot depend on Social Security. So if you're not doing so today, I encourage you to contribute to your 401k. Even if it's just 1% of your paycheck, do it. It's worth it. I encourage you to contribute to your Roth IRA. If it's 1%, do it. It compounds. Now let's talk about the next generation. 529 plan. A 529 plan is typically opened by parents and grandparents. It is a way for you to send your kids to college by using this tax vehicle. One thing that my parents did for their grandchildren at birth, they opened up a 529 plan for each of them. Cameron is a rising senior at McEachern, and Jaden is a rising junior at Landmark Christian Academy. Auntie wasn't gonna let you down. On a full basketball scholarship, and my very first paycheck, I got to keep every single dime of it. So I challenged them. You have to decide, what do you want your revenue or avenue to be for college? Because when you get that first paycheck, everybody gonna have their hand out. You gotta decide who hand you just go push away and say, no, this is all my money. Next thing I want to talk about is life insurance. And a misnomer that I hear is, I'm thinking about getting life insurance if something happens. Well, I'm here to tell you something's going to happen. It's not if something happens. It is when something happens. My dad says two things. You either go grow old or die as a baby. And I don't see any infants in this room, so we're all doing a great job. Okay? There's two types of life insurance I want to talk about. I want to talk about term life insurance. When it comes to term life insurance, it's just that. It's for a specific period of time. If you have life insurance, raise your hand. All right. All right. All of these hands raised means that we are on the proper trajectory of improving the next generation. Because the value of life insurance, it's great for you to pay into it, but the true benefactors of your life insurance policies is the beneficiaries on those accounts. That's how we can help the next generation grow. You may not be the first millionaire in your family, but you can create multiple millionaires in your family by having a term life insurance or a whole life insurance. Again, a term life insurance, very short time. It's a gamble. The insurance company is betting that you outlive your term life insurance. And you're gambling that when or if something happens, my family's taken care of. Whole life insurance. Whole life insurance or permanent insurance is for the duration of your life. Term life insurance, low barrier to entry, but the younger you get it, the cheaper it is. Whole life insurance is a little bit more expensive, but it works the same way. The younger you get it in life, the bigger the nest egg is. Does anyone have any questions yet? Yes, ma'am.
I was born with a congenital pre-existing condition, so I've always been told I couldn't get life insurance. Every time I go, it's nope. What can you do?
Okay, I forgot to say this disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor or a fiduciary. I am a passer of information. What can you do? I challenge you to find a licensed, trained professional. And I say that because I don't want to give you bad guidance. It's way too important. So I'm sorry I don't have a proper answer to you, but I'm not afraid to say, hey, I don't know. Okay? We do have some in the family. We got a couple of hands raised. I'm gonna get you next. What you got, Sheila, baby?
I was just gonna say, you can self-insure yourself. Save money and self-insure yourself. Purchase property, self-insure yourself. Start a business, self-insure yourself.
Y'all see where I get it from? Yes, ma'am.
No, I was just gonna ask if my daughter came in and I didn't hear the whole question. I am a life insurance agent.
There we go. Come on, Queen. So my nephews asked me, why do you have these extra chairs up front? And let me,
Because I'm trying to be a receiver also.
absolutely. And so I say I have these extra chairs up front, but I also have spies in the audience. They just don't know they're a spy. Meet one of my spies in the audience. What's your name? So what you have to do, you have to stand up. You have to tell your name, where you're from, how you're related to the family, and then your area of expertise.
My name is Rosie Brinson. My husband, Sammy Brinson, is from Lufkin, Georgia. We currently live in Schenectady, New York, which is west of New York City. And I am a licensed New York State insurance agent. I sell universal life, whole life, and term life insurance, as well as disability coverage and things like that.
And you're here till Sunday.
Yes, I am.
All right, and are your doors open?
Oh, yeah.
The doors of education are open, okay? All right, this session is about connecting individuals. Thank you so much.
And my last thing, the reason why I didn't hear what the question was, and I apologize, is because my daughter, Brianna Brinson, she's here and she's an attorney.
Yes.
Oh, Brianna.
Here we go.
Hi, my name is Brianna Brinson. And I'm here with my dad, Sammy Brinson. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see him. He should be walking in soon. We got caught up in traffic. That's why we're just arriving. Sorry for being late. I'm an attorney here in the state of Florida and the state of New York. I'm a general practitioner. I used to be a prosecutor in Sanford, Florida, and Albany, New York. So I am into criminal justice and family court. I do a lot of things. So if you have any concerns on family, I am Brianna Brinson. And I'm open to anyone if you want to come and talk to me about, your home legal things that you would have in your in-house legal stuff. I'm here for family, of course.
Thank you, Brianna.
Yes.
May you ask your question again?
I'm not wasting time. Huh?
No. Go ahead. You got help.
I was stating, I'm a two-time open heart surgery born with heart problems. And every time I've gone for life insurance, they say no, because you have a pre-existing. And so I'm not young no more. Eat as well. So that was the question. I've always been told no, you can't have it.
You're gonna find that, and you're gonna find the no's, but there are some yeses out there, just so that you know. But it takes a little bit of research, and I am offering myself that if you ever want me to help you find or look to see, it's gonna be pricier because of pre-existing conditions. However, there is something out there, but there's options for you. You have to just find out what's the best option for you. And you're finding it burden to you. It has to help you, or you need to find something else. But I can talk to you about that.
There we go.
Awesome, thank you so much for sharing. Last topic I'm gonna speak about is estate planning. Everybody raise your hand if you have a bank account. You got money in the bank, okay? Every hand that is raised, if you do not have a beneficiary on your account, please put a beneficiary on your account. That's better than having nothing, okay? You wanna have a beneficiary on all of your financial accounts, so your bank accounts, all of your life insurance policies, all of your retirement accounts. You wanna have a beneficiary. The next layer of that is having a will. You wanna have a will. You wanna have a will drafted by a licensed, trained professional. LegalZoom is awesome, but it's also a business. You wanna know the person that is in front of your money. Having a will is great. It gives direct instructions on what happens next. You wanna make sure that, again, it's done by a licensed, trained professional, because your family is already gonna be a wreck. The last thing they need is all of these webs to go through. The downside to having a will is you still have to go to probate court. And that can be a very lengthy process. So the next and best layer is to have a trust. Again, I encourage you each to have a trust. What a trust does, it makes everything private. You don't have to go to probate court, but again, you need a licensed, trained professional to draft your trust for you. But you also want to make sure that your trust is funded. So that means you have all of your assets inside of your trust. It's great to have a trust, but if it's not funded, it's no more than this sheet of paper that I have before you. Okay? So again, beneficiary first. That's like, I can walk out of here today and add a beneficiary on my account. Next layer of protection, you want to have a will. And don't think I'm not in a position to have a will or a trust, because if you have something, you have everything. If you have assets, you deserve to have that, because we're all family and we all get along until someone falls down. Especially if you have a blended family. You want to make sure you have clear guidance, because you worked hard for what you've come up with, and you want your family to be successful and protected. So again, my name is Khadijah J. Head. I talked to you about long-term investing, very high level. Again, my doors are open. Life insurance, we have a great resource. Again, I'm just a messenger and a pointer. I'm pointing you in a direction of knowledge, okay? When it comes to wills and trusts and not going to probate court, we have enough people in this room that have been to probate court. And the last thing you want to do is allow the state to determine the future of your family. Thank you guys so much for your time.
All right. Oh, wait, you have a question?
All right, so once again, my name is Anthony Crepenza. This is my wife, Tisha Brinson Crepenza. I am the son-in-law of Edward Brinson, who was the son of O.B. Brinson. We're happy to be here. We're going to be talking about real estate. Very excited. Thank you, guys. Sure. So I'll give you my backstory. I was born in New York City. I grew up right outside the city, and I went to Temple. And that's kind of where, I guess, where my house from someone that he had paid $10,000 for 10 years ago. And it was now worth 10, 20 times that price. And I realized right away I needed to get more heavily involved in real estate. I helped him, as well as some other landlords, fill some of his rooms. I bought my first home at 25. So I know one of the big things that people come up with is that they're waiting, or they need a checklist, or they don't have the right home. That first home, I think I paid $2,000 out of pocket for. Seller assist, I think I got $1,000 at the time. Obama was president, and he had a program where he was giving out, it was like $7,000, $8,000 back on your taxes. So not only that, basically my entire down payment plus more was given back to me. It was a wonderful opportunity for me to start, and from there I purchased 2 other homes within the next few years. One thing I will tell you about real estate that's a blessing is that you can really purchase, unlike stocks or any other investments, real estate is one of the few items that you can buy with very little money down, and a bank can subsidize the remaining money. So from that first purchase, I was able to save up some money, buy a triplex in West Philadelphia. I had a fire, was able to use some of that money to purchase another property. And those 3 properties we still have today. In total, somewhere close to $1 million in property. Thank you guys. We bought and sold other homes, but we still have those. And real estate's the only thing that I know you can do that with without even putting anywhere near to 10% down on that money. So it's been a blessing for us. A few years ago, I left banking, which I was in for years, and I became a full-time realtor. My wife was working at the time, and just because of my experience, business, and people that knew me, I was able to do real estate full-time to the point where she was able to leave her job, focus on our children, which has been a blessing to us. I know my parents had to work all the time, so it's really been a blessing to have my wife. It's been a blessing to have her focus on the children. I feel like I see the difference on just being able to raise them in a way where they've seen a parent in front of them, they're not at an after-school program. My wife's able to pick them up, drop them off at school, and just seeing them flourish and do well in school and really be able to focus because they have a parent in the household at all times. And that's really due to real estate, being able to have that foundation that we have in real estate. We don't owe any money on that money, on the property. So we're able to then collect that rental income and be able to have that foundation that real estate was able to provide for us. So we're looking forward to talking about that here today, answering any questions that we have as a panel and as a group. Thank you guys.
Hello, family. Again, I am here representing Alpha One Staffing. We are a staffing agency based in South Florida. We work with companies in corporate support, healthcare, and disaster relief. We also work with job seekers to help them with their get new positions. So that's everything from resume and LinkedIn review, interview prep, all those sorts of things. Just completely lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. But if you do have any questions, again, I'm looking forward to speaking with everybody today, sharing some information. If you have any specific questions that you have, because I know a lot of job seeking information is kind of the same. So if there's anything that you'd like me to answer, I'm happy to do so. Thank you so much,
We're going to go into our panel discussion. So I have prepared a couple of questions for our panelists to kind of direct the conversation in a way that you guys can continue to gain value and information. So Lauren, the first question is for you. So question is, how has the employment landscape recently changed, and how are you adapting to those changes?
As I mentioned earlier, coming out of the pandemic where people were hopping from one job to another, if a job was paying $50,000 more, it was easy to find that. They were just taking on different positions, and the market was more candidate driven. Now we're back into more of a traditional job market where employers can afford to be a little bit more selective, and with a little bit of the things that are going on with the economy, economic uncertainty, hiring has slowed down a little bit. So our focus really has just been on empowering people who are looking for jobs. By the way, do I have anyone in the room who's looking for a position right now? Wait, you with the family business here, put your hand down. I saw someone in the back. Someone raise their hand in the back. If you don't, I'm just curious what type of roles we're looking for and things like that.
That was asking for
with the yellow hat on? Okay. Didn't mean to put you on the spot, but do you mind sharing, Ms. Essence?
Sure.
what type of role you're looking
I am a healthcare compliance professional.
Okay,
So Medicare, Medicaid, insurance.
okay. And you're looking to stay within the same type of position, a different company, or?
Yes, same roles, different company, and I would prefer remote.
Okay, of
It's
course.
becoming more challenging.
Yes.
So prior to COVID, it was a lot of remote opportunities, but now it's more hybrid, or you have to live in the state. So before, I was living in Florida and I was working in Maryland, so now they're cutting back on those opportunities.
Right. Everybody was, spoiled by the climate during the pandemic, and companies want everyone to come back to work. So, as I was saying earlier, we are switching to a situation where we're helping candidates prepare themselves a little bit better. So, starting with that resume, your LinkedIn, making sure that the content on your resume, that it's formatted, you have no spelling errors, those types of things. Instead of listing a lot of your job duties, you want to focus on how you really made an impact in terms of how did you help the company make money, how did you improve a process, and how did you, just different ways that you were able to make an impact. So to answer your question, Ms. Khadija, we're really focused on just empowering job seekers, because it is a lot more difficult to find those positions now, just because of the way that the hiring has slowed down.
The next question is for,
I have a question before we move on. You gonna stick with her or you moving to somebody else?
I'm moving to real estate.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I have a question or a concern that I would like for you to speak to in terms of people having good credit, social media, influencing employers, what you put in on social media, that kind of thing for the young people, because a lot of people don't understand that sometimes, that follows you
Oh, absolutely.
when you go for
Absolutely. So you mentioned credit. I know that's important to some roles, banking and things like that. Your credit is important, and your financial history. If you are
trying to get an apartment, if you're trying to rent an apartment, they're gonna run your credit.
Yes, that's true. Yep, that is true. But as far as social media goes and what we call a personal brand, I would definitely start with LinkedIn. I would think, is everybody familiar with LinkedIn in the room? Okay, so that is the best way to kind of set yourself up professionally. That's your professional social media, and that's how you would brand yourself. As far as the Twitters and the Snapchats, if anybody's still using that, TikTok, I would make all of that private, because it's not a customary practice for all companies, but some companies, you go and interview with a hiring manager and they want to see who you are outside of work. And so you do want to be mindful of what you're putting out there. Twitter's another one that gets people in a lot of trouble. So if you kind of are on the socials, kind of letting it all hang out, I would make sure that that's all private. But I really just encourage you to just steer clear from all that, because it does follow you, and once on the internet, it's out there. So.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. My next question is for Layla's. Is it Layla? No, your daughter. Layla and your eldest. All right, so today's question is for Layla's parents. So today, how many years ago? Today, 10 years ago, they became parents. Today is their daughters. 8 years ago, they became parents. So we're going to do a whole happy birthday thing, but we roll up out of here. Just absolutely embarrass her. But my question for you guys, how can aspiring homeowners best prepare financially for purchasing their first home?
Great question. You were talking about credit earlier. I worked in banking for 15 plus years, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a role that may require credit. Having your credit in a good position with a good score will set you up where you're not having to try to fix previous sins. So making sure you're paying all your bills, making sure your credit card usage is in line. You want to stay under 30% of that usage. I think one of the best things my dad did for me was he had given me a credit card that was in my name, and he was like, put books on this. And then when I graduated, he would like start putting your gas and your groceries. And then I got to a point where I was paying a bunch of credit card bills, but they're the same bills that people would put on a debit card. My wife sees all the points that we get, and it's just that I literally put everything on a credit card. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I can't pay that off. It's just the same money that I would be putting on a debit card. So having your credit in line just sets you up on the right track where you're able to purchase a home, especially at a young age where you're getting that maximum value. The same way that Khadijah talked about a 401k, if you start young, it will take you that extra 50 years, it will grow that entire time. Even though my wife's not working right now, that 401k is still there. It's still going up in value. We looked at it a few weeks ago and it's doubled since she left her job. That 401k, the same way a house can grow in value. So having your credit in line, step one, having a good solid job where you have a pay stub, where it's verifiable income. If you are self-employed, like a plumber, making sure that you have your books in line, see an accountant, because being able to have all your finances in line, you can buy a house. And then you have that 10, 20, 30 years where it's appreciating in value. Going back to the beach we just were this afternoon talking to Randy Jr., he purchased another home on his block with the equity in the house that he purchased 11 years ago. That wouldn't have been possible if he waited another 10 years.
And one thing for me, I bought my first home when I was 36 years old. I started investing in my Roth IRA when I was 25 years old. There is a tax loophole that says you can withdraw $10,000 from your Roth IRA as a first-time homeowner with 0 exemptions. And that's what I did. I pulled that $10,000 right out of my Roth IRA, and I used that as a down payment on my first home. I've been a homeowner for 6 years now, I think, and the equity and the value of my home has doubled. So let's say I bought my home for $100,000. Now it's worth $200,000. That's the value of understanding the things that we're talking about today. Next question. I'm gonna keep it in the yes.
What is a good credit score?
The question is, what is a good credit score?
I'll speak, primarily for Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the surrounding areas. A lot of the grants that are available in the state of Pennsylvania and New Jersey, you're really starting at 680. So let's say you don't have a lot of money, which a lot of my clients don't. They're first-time home buyers. Maybe they don't even make a ton of money. I'm helping clients purchase homes where they're getting, I just had a client from our church, they got $15,000 in student loan debt paid off. They got $15,000 towards the purchase of their home, and it's because their credit score was high enough for these grants. So I would say at least be 680. I don't think that's an exact rule, but if you're at 700 or better, now you have access to the grants and stuff that make your life a lot easier when you're purchasing a home.
Now, you say grants,
Yes, sir.
not
Yes.
loans. Grants is what?
So a lot of the grants that I work with, they might have $1,000 grant, $2,000 grants, but a lot of, and again, I'm speaking specifically for Pennsylvania, they do have a lot of programs that they are considered loans, but they're forgivable loans. So they'll give you 5% of the purchase price to purchase a home, and then over that 10-year frame, it's dropping in, the debt is dropping off. So if you stay there for 10 years, it's completely free. Those are the larger grants that I see. I can't speak for all the states, but specifically for PA, New Jersey.
And may I speak to the difference between the credit score and the FICO score?
I know people say that in different terms, but it's the same thing. People just call it different. There's different credit bureaus, but ultimately, if you're a 700 and better, FICO, Experian, they don't normally vary that differently between the 3 credit bureaus.
I'm actually going, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Any questions?
Absolutely.
Anthony, can you expound upon, in your experience, although I know you keep saying you're speaking from your experience in Pennsylvania, but I'm sure you may have colleagues across the nation. Kind of to Will's point, do a lot of states have grant programs though that first-time home buyers could go after?
Sure, I don't see why none of them wouldn't. And again, I'm speaking back to when I bought my first home 15 years ago. That was a federal program. Obama had, you can Google it. It was $9,000 that they gave you back on your taxes. So the same way Khadijah said she's going to point you in the right direction, I'm going to do the same thing. If it's New York, because you guys are in Buffalo, find a trusted realtor that has a track record. With the internet nowadays, you should be able to look someone up. Find a good realtor that does this on a regular and talk to them. Find someone that is from your community that might have experience helping those type of clients. With where I work, with who I serve, with the church I go to, I work with a lot of clients that are not buying $1 million homes. That's what I enjoy doing. So that's my level of expertise in that same field. So Eddie, definitely, I would have to say, all states are going to have some of those programs. It's up to you to figure out your specific state, find a trusted source, as Khadijah said many times, because there is someone in your neighborhood, in your area, in your city that has access to that information and those types of grants.
One thing I want everyone to write down, I'm going to give you guys an acronym, and this is for every first-time homeowner. So if you've never owned a home, there is a national federal program called NACA. Okay? You guys are looking for something that is blanketed, NACA, NACA. That's all I'm going to give you. If you want to become a homeowner, that's your carrot. I need you to chase it. All right, next thing we're going to do is transition back to employment. Think about me again. I was a college coach. So for 15 years, I was a Division I college coach. I had to make a career change. I had career gaps in my resume, and then I had to make a pivot. So Lauren, my question to you, again, I went from college basketball coaching to being a plumber, and I changed a toilet handle in COVID, and my parents were proud. All right, so my question for you, how can individuals with employment gaps effectively address these on their resume and doing job interviews?
Great question. I would just say being transparent, especially if there was a specific reason why you may have taken a break, or there was a gap, if you took some time off for parental leave, or you were sick, or you took some time off to take care of a sick family member. I would definitely just be transparent about that, and then also highlight and focus on what are the ways you spent your time. Maybe you took a course in that time. Maybe you learned a new skill. We do work with tons of companies in different states, and we've helped them to hire thousands of candidates in some of the job, the industries that I talked about earlier. And these conversations do come up. Well, did we really like this person? What happened with this skills gap, with this employment gap? And we really, on the back end, when we're interviewing candidates for those roles, we do, come up with a story as to why there was a gap, and just try to make it look as attractive as possible. So, just make sure if you have a reason, it's okay to be transparent, and just kind of highlight how you grew in other ways that might be impressive to the employer.
For myself, I went to college, zero debt, but when I made my pivot, that was probably one of the toughest things, is to correlate how college coaching could be understood in corporate America. And I say that to say it's never too late to start over. So the question was asked, who's actively seeking a job? And we didn't have many hands raised. But I'm sure we have a lot of people in the room that are looking to make a career pivot. Maybe their industry is getting phased out, and they need to make a pivot, or they're going to be just like the dinosaurs. So I challenge you guys to really lean on Lauren. If you are looking to make a career pivot, Lauren, what are some great industries that have tremendous career growth and opportunity that don't necessarily have the baggage of I have to go get a traditional education to pursue?
Definitely some of growing and very strong industries are going to be healthcare, tech. I know tech had a lot of layoffs, but that was really on the talent acquisition side. So healthcare, tech, and clean energy are 3 top ones that are growing right now. And as far as, you might think, well, I don't have skills specifically for, these types of industries. You do have transferable skills. You have some leadership skills. You're creative. You solved a problem. You've led a project. All of these things they're universal as far as industry goes. So on your resume, you definitely just want to highlight those transferable skills, the impact that you had within that, and that will be how you move forward if you're trying to switch industries.
Can I speak to that a little bit? Hi again, family. I'm gonna speak to that because I've pivoted in my career and I'm now a stay-at-home mom, and I enjoyed working at one point and plan to go back at some point. So something I've been thinking about is how to tell my story. I've grown confident enough during this time to be able to share my story and also to share my story transparently with my next employer whenever I do go back to work. And I left my previous job in a really great state where they would take me back. So I would say that's one thing too. I also am still very active on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn and you're employed, I would encourage you to be on there. And people have been like, what are you doing on LinkedIn? I'm a stay-at-home mom now. I really don't need to be on LinkedIn. It's for professionals. But I share personal stories about whether when I was when I was a working mom and how, I went to work, carrying the baby, whatever, or personal stories about now and what I'm doing, what I'm up to now. So some of the things I would share if I'm applying for another job is I'm on the PTO at my daughter's school now, right? And it may sound like something small, but recently I just applied first time being getting a big grant for the PTO. And so that was new experience for me, one. And I also tapped on a fellow Brinson who's a grant writer, my niece Bria. So that was cool to just I know that I'm not good at this. I know that I have no clue. So I'm gonna reach out to people that I know may have a clue. And we actually got the grant. So something like that is something I would share with a future employer about some of the things I've done over these, however much time it was between now and my last job. Another thing about career pivoting, when I graduated from Temple University, I was a marketing major and I went into fashion buying. I wanted to become a buyer in a retail store. So I used to work for the company TJ Maxx and Marshalls, the headquarters in Massachusetts. And so I went through their program for a while and then I got laid off and I ended up staying in the field, but I moved to another state. So I did that I was buying for a local retailer in New Jersey for about, 5 years. And I decided I wanted to work in business. I wanted to change jobs. So I had met someone at my church actually whose neighbor worked at Comcast, which is where I left. And they introduced me, we networked, and she helped me work out my transferable skills from buying into an onboarding human resources position at Comcast. I didn't have any human resources experience, but I didn't realize when I was in buying, I was also helping to train other assistant buyers there. I was doing that probably 10% of my job on the side because I was the most senior buyer there at the time, and people leaned on me for that experience. And I didn't realize that little 10% would help me use those transferable skills to get me into a whole different industry and get paid the same amount. I didn't take a pay cut to switch industries. So definitely you want to work with someone that could help you kind of write out your story to help you pinpoint where those transferable skills may be for you to pivot like that.
Awesome. As you can see, we have some tremendous insight shared on stage. as well as in the audience, I do want to allow time for you guys to ask any additional questions. I got some filler for us, but this is not about us. I want to make sure that the individuals that may have additional questions, you have an opportunity to speak. So does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Do you all have business cards that you have in the business cards? Do you have, each one that spoke today, do you have any business cards that you could pass out?
Yes. Oh,
I'll walk around.
can we give it up for the man of the hour right here? Can we give it up for the man of the hour? I don't know I need anything till I get a tap on the shoulder, and that's exactly what I need. Yes, so we do have, I'm sure we all have business cards. We're all active online. I did some snooping on my fellow panelists. They're absolutely phenomenal. If you Google their name, image, and likeness, and their entire narrative and storyline will come up. So yes, I'm sure we all have physical business cards, but we live on the internet as well. Any additional questions? All right, young man, we got a question up front.
Where we at?
I'm gonna bring my microphone. You need to stand up. Stand up.
I gotta fix this a little.
Yes. Hold on, your name?
What's your name?
My name is Cameron O'Dari Hood, 17, from Atlanta.
Where's your grandma?
My grandma is Sheila B. Hood. Yeah.
And your dad?
And is he in the room?
We're not gonna embarrass him.
My dad is O'Dari Hood, head of plumbing. Yeah. So my question is actually for the whole committee. So I just want to know, like, how was it selecting colleges? Like, for y'all?
Good question. Anyone want to go first?
So I went to Temple University, and I actually found out about it from a book that I was reading, a novel I was reading, probably my junior year. And I am from Massachusetts, and I love Massachusetts, but it's not as diverse. And I don't know, for some reason I was looking for a more diverse setting. And so I looked into Temple from that novel. I talked about it with my guidance counselor, and my parents took me down for a tour, and I applied, and I loved it.
Is that where you found your husband?
That's right, from my husband.
Yeah. That's why we got a birthday.
So again, Anthony Crepenza, son-in-law of Eddie Brinson, just one time? Okay. So I went to Temple. I had the kind of like the Khadijah plan. I couldn't shoot a basketball though, so I had to be smart. I had a scholarship to Temple, and I'm the oldest of 3. So my parents were like, it looks like you're going to Temple. That's where I went. It's a blessing to me. I found a new city, found a wife. We still live there to this day. So I think some of it's the Lord. See what opportunities pop up. Don't have your mind so closed that you don't see an opportunity in front of you. I never thought about Temple. They sent me a free application, and I think back then they were like $40 to apply. They're probably $50, $60 to apply now, and they gave me a scholarship. That's where I went.
I went to University of Florida, and do we have any Gators in the room? I know we have a big Gator head right here. Go Gators! Go Gators! Both of my parents went to Bethune-Cookman University, and then I had
Hail Wildcats.
And then my older cousin she's a graduate of FAMU. So I going to the classics and things, I felt like I got the HBCU experience, even though I know, I missed a lot, but I kind of got that. UF at the time was academically the best school in the state, and I just decided to do something a little bit different. So yeah.
And for me, mine was strictly athletic driven. So I knew I wanted to play Division I college basketball. And I went to Murray State University. You can't find it on a map. But they flew our parents out, and You know, I went and it was not diverse at all. The athletes looked like me. Everyone else did not. But I went there with a mission and a purpose. So I knew I wanted a free education, and I also knew I wanted to graduate with honors. And so I picked a specific academic path. It was a poor decision. I picked my path because it was the path that all the football players and the men's basketball players were in. And I knew if they were in it, I could definitely graduate with honors. But thankfully, I have not had to use my degree. And then I got my master's degree at Slippery Rock University. It's 45 minutes north of Pittsburgh. Same way I picked my undergraduate, it's the same way I picked my graduate. I knew I did not want to have any student loan debt, and I knew I wanted to get into coaching. And they had a coaching position, and for 3 months, I told everyone I was going to be a graduate assistant in Stony Brook. Stony Brook is in New York. For 3 months, that's where I thought I was going, until it was time to pack up my car, and I realized, oh, I'm going up to Pennsylvania, to Slippery Rock. So that is how I selected my college. Does anyone have any additional questions? Yes, sir.
It's not really a question, but more of an answer to his question as well.
Yes, resource in the room. Your name, where you're from, and your lineage.
My name is Larry Brinson Jr. My name is Larry Brinson Jr. My dad is Larry Brinson Sr., sitting right next to me right here. My grandmother is Vivian Jean Brinson, and my grandfather is James Brinson, also Jr. But I want to answer his question as well as far as college. Obviously, picking a college and picking a major is going to be a major decision. Those can also change. Don't pick one major and then feel like you have to stick to it forever. Also, whatever college you go to, regardless of what it is, make the best of it. My very first job I got was because I met someone at a club. School club, not a club. I met someone in one of the school clubs, and they worked somewhere, and they got me into my first job. Things like that. So many people I met in that club, I live with now my roommates. So make any connections you have, whether it be other students, with teachers, with any staff, any opportunity you have. Like other people have said, opportunities come up, they're right in front of you. Sometimes take it. That can really change your life.
Thank you so much, Larry, for sharing. Any other questions?
How you doing? Kevin Brinson, son of Julian Brinson, grandson of Richmond Brinson, great-grandson of Wesley Brinson. My question is, early when you started off, you started talking about investments, and you spoke about 401ks.
Yes, sir.
For the individuals who may be self-employed, you know, I was really more of a comment to suggest that they invest in mutual funds, because those can move in the same direction that the 401ks can move in. Some people that are self-employed, like myself, I got a joint venture with Atlantic Records for people in the music and entertainment business. We don't get paid the same like other people. We get paid on a quarterly basis, you know, but we get paid a lot of money. So sometimes you can take large chunks of money and invest. And I said, man, I want to take $20,000 and invest it in energy stocks, you know what I'm saying? And if I don't touch it and let it keep rolling over, in 15 to 18 years, that turned to $1 million without having to put any more money into it.
Thank you so much for sharing. That is great feedback, because all of us are entrepreneurs at some point in time, and I'm sure we have some inspiring entrepreneurs as well. So that's very important. Thank you so much for sharing. I got a question here up front.
My name is Jaden Head. I'm the son of Odari Head. My grandmother is Sheila Beckham Head, and I'm the great-grandson of Lucy Brinson Beckham. And my question for everybody, including the panel, but everybody in the room, is if you were a junior in high school, what would you do differently?
So I'm gonna go to the panelists. Actually, I'm gonna go to someone in the room first. Do we have a volunteer that will turn back the hands of time? All right. Your name, where you're from, and your Brinson lineage.
Gabby from Virginia, and I am Miss Vivian Mr. Henry's goddaughter. So, junior year, I just graduated. So,
Congratulations!
Okay, so my advice is definitely focus on your schoolwork, but do other things. If you don't have any extracurriculars, please find 2. Don't do 15 because they will notice ooh, you started 15 extracurriculars all the same year that you started looking at colleges. They will notice and they will not take you seriously. Just do 1 or 2, focus on those, and go hang out with your friends and enjoy the time because soon you will be where I am. You're going to go to college, and then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I have bills. I have loans in my name. I have to focus. But yes, enjoy the time. I think that is the most important thing. And if you are interested or you have any opportunities that your school offers to take any free college courses or even college courses that are discounted, please take them. Even if you don't think you're going to use them. I took all the way up until linear algebra and math. That's because I'm going to be a STEM major, but I don't think I'm going to use my last 2 years, but I took them anyway because I knew that it could transfer to an elective or something, which is less that you have to pay when you're on your own, your bills are in your name. And then, Cameron, I also want to answer your question real quick. So, applying to colleges, please do not leave out any colleges. The college I'm going to, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, my god sister over there did that. She sent it to me after I applied to all my colleges. I was done. I was like, no more. I was finished. It was after October. I was not looking at this again. She sent me this. She was like, Gabby, they're opening a vet school in 2 years. My criteria was having a vet school already. And I'm like, 2 years, I'll still be an undergrad. And so I applied just because I'm like, whatever. It's just a school to go to. I didn't have to pay for the application. I was like, let me just apply. I went and visited my top 5 schools. Some of them I was like, ooh, no, can't live here. Some of them I did not get into. So I was like, okay, well, let me go visit this last school on my list, very last school. I went there, I was like, oh, this is where I'm living. I'm like, this is my people. I feel comfortable. I feel great. So I did apply to Tuskegee. I did not like it. But yes, please do not leave anything out. If somebody sends you college and it's 2 days until the deadline, you already have that essay. Please just copy and paste that essay, change the university name, send it to them.
All right. Can we give a round of applause for Gabby for graduating? Let's go! Let's go. Maryland Eastern Shore is lucky to have you. Do I have anyone else that is closer? Because we graduated a long time ago. So do we have anyone closer to that age demographic that could offer words of wisdom about either selecting a college or if you were a junior in high school? Don't everyone raise your hand at once because I will pick someone that looks young.
And Bashari got something, I think.
Okay.
I'd also like to say, take AP classes. It will save you a lot of time, a lot of money. I took, I believe, 5 or 6 AP classes. Pretty much took off almost a whole year of college. So I can help you either graduate earlier or maybe lessen your workload. So maybe still graduate in 4 years. There's 3 classes a semester, not 4. So that can be a big boon. I'd also say, along with what Gabby was saying, apply to all the colleges. If you can afford the applications, apply to them. Let them say no. Don't say no to yourself.
Yep.
There was something else I forgot. Yeah, pretty much just while you're in college, just take all the opportunities you can, meet everyone you can, take all the classes you can. Again, students, teachers, you never know what's gonna come from any of those connections. Could be jobs, could be lifelong friendships, could be future roommates, could be future anything. No, we're here because a lot of people are connected. So use those connections. They're gonna come up later in life, somehow, somewhere. Could be you're in trouble. I would call someone. Someone come pick me up. Especially in college, a lot of stuff happens in college. But yeah, just use. A lot of young people are doing a lot of things. Yeah, just use all the connections, make all those connections, use them. Don't be scared to go to college, maybe close to home, far away from home. live with your parents, don't live with your parents, make decisions best for you. And another thing I'm learning now at 28 is that your environment is a huge factor in how your life goes. Huge. The friends you have around you, the place you work at, the noise around you, everything around you is going to affect your life. So make sure your environment fits you and your life. Don't fit anyone else's life, make it fit you and your life. That'll make it a lot easier. You're not fighting every day. It's too noisy. My roommate's too loud. This or that. You don't want that.
All right, well, I want to absolutely thank my panelists today. Can we give them a round of applause? Is the birthday girl here? Bring her on up.
You got one.
You got one more?
Yeah, you got time.
We had one.
You sure? We got time.
Oh, no. Are you Bashari?
No.
I was just gonna ask you a question about.
Wait. You gotta stand up.
Okay.
You got your name, where you from, and your Brinson lineage.
Alright, so my name is Cherise Brinson. I'm from Schenectady, New York, Albany, New York. My dad is Sammy Brinson Jr. and my grandfather is Sammy Brinson Sr. So, but about college, I did it a little bit differently. I went to a 2-year school first, and then I went to a 4-year school. It was cheaper. Still did, I still graduated a semester early after everything. I graduated in high school in 2017, college in 2020. So that was COVID time. It was crazy. But when you're a junior in high school, take those college classes. It sucks for a second, but then afterwards it gets better when you're in college and you already know what to do, where to go, how to do this, how to work around everybody. And yeah, definitely apply everywhere because you never know, and visit as many places as possible. And yeah, I think that's all.
What school did you go to?
Oh, I went to Herkimer County Community College first, and then I went to the University of Albany.
Great advice. Great advice. We all can be successful, not in the same way. We all have different trajectories through life, but we all have the same ultimate end goal. That end goal is to, I love myself. I'm worthy of happiness. I'm worthy of wealth, and I will help my family. All right, last but not least, birthday girl. Everybody knows the birthday song. So on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Layla. Happy birthday to you.
Of course, thank you for attending. We got a white party to go to. I challenge you to meet someone you didn't travel here with. Let's get to know each other. Again, when you meet someone new, you have to say your name. You have to say where you're from and give your Princeton lineage before you get into the conversation. Thank you again.
One more round of applause for our panel and everyone who spoke today. Thank you, panel. You guys did a great job, and we will definitely keep it going. Thank you, Khadijah and Tish, for heading that up for us. Hopefully everyone learned a lot from this. Don't be scared to ask some questions throughout the weekend. They'll all be here, of course, through the weekend. So you will get to know them better, what they do. They can answer some of the questions for you. If they can't answer it for you, then I'm sure they'll get more information for you or tell you where to go for that. All right, thank you again. All right, so before we end, real quick, remember we're back in here at 6 o'clock for our opening ceremony. And during the opening ceremony, we'll give you better instructions, but tonight is all white. So right now we're going to adjourn so you can get changed into your all white if you want to. It's totally optional. Also, registration will be open until 5:30. So 4:30, well, down to 5:30 right here in the hall. So you may do that. Thank everyone for attending. 2026, we look forward to seeing each and every one of you plus more for our empowerment session. Thank you.
What was your name again?
Good questions, man. Great questions.